Good morning, America and the world. How you guys doing? I finally got tired of the dusty waits in the corner of the front porch mocking me. I found the motivation to strap a couple weights together and do some farmer's carries this morning. I noticed the tendency for doing stupid things when I haven't done much physical activity, or at least intense physical activity for a while, is overwhelming. I'd really fight the tendency to want to jerk the weight up in a horrible form. Like when you don't do something frequently, it's easy to forget all the intricacies, like keeping the weight over the center of balance. That's really bad news when you let the weight drift out or try to pick it up when it's like not at your midfoot. It's a good recipe to snap a I forget what they're called. It's like a little skinny muscle that kind of wraps the lower half of the spine. But I screwed one of those up before and it sucked really bad. Like made it really really difficult to walk for like a week. Like the first like 3 or 4 days, I had to hike my pants up and like strap my belt down as tight as I could get just to be able to move around. But that's what a person gets when they do things for the wrong reasons, mainly for pride and ego. Eventually, the eventually there's enough, and a person becomes so detestable that they get crushed. And yet they still do stupid things like that. Oh man. Finally got the most of the garlic planted. It's been about 2 weeks, maybe a little less, something like that. A few of the soft necks in the 25-gallon fabric pots have already come up, broken the ground already. The first, like, I think 3 or 4 came up after only about 8 days or something like that, which is pretty amazing. It was fairly warm or at least mild for a while. And the smaller containers, the soil warms up faster than if they're in a raised bed, or especially if they're in the ground. One thing I noticed was a few of the hardnecks I didn't put deep enough in the. If the soil's kind of dense, like deep down where the roots have to dig into, but the soil above is loose, the roots will grow and it'll kind of lift the cloves out of the ground a bit. So I had to kind of tuck them back in and mound them up a little. I should probably still put some mulch on top of them just to make sure they're covered. I'm gonna try to salvage a few greens today for some soup. Try to reclaim some of what's left from the straggling caterpillars and the slugs. One thing I noticed that's odd about a couple of the collards. This year was the first year I grew collards, and it's this variety called Morris Heading collards, and they do really well in the summer. They produce really big leaves. But the weird thing is, I had, I think, one big plant that I left till, I don't know, maybe August or something. And other than the aphids, it didn't really have any problems with the heat. Just keeping it watered well, it did great. But it didn't bolt like all summer. But the two or three of the starts that I planted at the end of the summer that these all came from, I've started bolting like a month ago, which is really weird. Generally, they need more of a hot weather stretch. Maybe the hot weather at the end of the summer was enough to just initiate them, and a lot of times once they start bolting, they just won't stop. At least not unless they're like cut back really severely and kind of regrow. That's one thing I found with spinach is like if it gets planted late, certain varieties bolt real easy. And you can keep trying to cut it back, but it'll just keep like the new growth just tries to bolt immediately. How's your guys' garden growing? For anyone that has one. And for anyone that doesn't has any space, what are you waiting for? No excuses. Even if it's just a couple containers or a jar of sprouts. I got so much food that I need to eat. I still have a squash that I haven't eaten from last year. It's like, oh, I don't know, at least 14 months old now. So it ought to be a prime flavor territory. One thing that's kind of makes it difficult is when there's so much other food to eat, like new food just keeps showing up. Food from the store. Seems I'm not sure how prevalent this phenomenon is, but in my experience, it seems difficult to get people into the idea that uh, a couple things, I guess, to eat what is grown, especially before buying stuff to buying other stuff to eat, and also to uh, to not be wasteful. I know it's not easy fighting the habits and compulsions a person gets used to. I think a big part of that is just trying to use things as a replacement for the try to fill the hole deep down inside. And I've been at least as guilty of that as pretty much anyone else. But just because it's it's difficult to fight that inclination doesn't mean it's not a worthwhile effort and a necessity. Oh man. I have a feeling my legs are gonna feel like Jello for a while. Hopefully I didn't screw my back up too bad or anything else. It's a really nice day here today. I don't think it quite got down to freezing last night, at least according to the thermometers. But there was some frost on the grass. But the sun is out. It's kind of warm in the sun. At least now that my blood is moving around. I haven't paid too close attention to the azimuth of the sun as it relates to a few of these beds, but looks like they're almost totally in the shade of a structure. I noticed the end of the bed started to get shade somewhere around the first week of October or something like that. And I think somewhere in the last few weeks, they must have sun must have dipped low enough that pretty much all the bed is in the shadows. I think it'll stay that way until somewhere around the end of January. But thankfully, the garlic doesn't need much sun during the winter, and all the parsnips are pretty much full size. Last ones I pulled up, most of them were like almost 2 inches across at the crown. It's just really good. And the carrots that I think are almost like 10 or 11 months old or something like that. They still tasted really great. I just noticed the rosemary is flowering. And there's a stray bee. Amazing that they can still get out once it warms up, even if it freezes the night or early morning before. I was watching one of Rabbi Mizrachi's older lectures from his Psychology of the Mind and Soul series from like 5 years ago, something like that, 2016. And he was talking about the idea or the phenomenon that is mentioned in the Gemara or the Talmud about the final generation before the redemption. It said that the last generation will have the face of a dog. I've heard that mentioned a few times, and the other comments recently, both by Rabbi Mizrachi and Rabbi Anava. Rabbi Anava said, how he thought it was, kind of ironic that, who could imagine that all of what that meant until now, when the entire world has been muzzled. the real meaning of the having the face of the dog is the generation will be arrogant, like more arrogant than any previous generation. And the rest of the explanation in the Gemara is that pretty much all the people in the last generation will be all the screw ups from every Gilgul, every reincarnation since the beginning of time, all get brought back for one last chance to fix whatever they can fix and have a chance at their own redemption. But it's not something anyone else can do for another person. Everyone has to put forth their own effort. That's the reason why everything is screwed up, because pretty much everyone here has screwed up so bad. That's the hurdle they have to overcome in order to deserve not being completely washed clean and then recycled, rather than finding a place among the righteous in the world to come. That's one of those, I mean, everything is, but it's a really glaring example of measure for measure. And and the reward fitting the test that a person has to overcome. But it's also said that there'll be a few people that volunteer to come back just to try to help anyone that may have the merit to do whatever they can to rectify their own damages. Kind of like a beacon of light in the darkness to try to guide as many people towards that light as possible. Most of the time, it's not really easy to see that light, though. Most of the time, it's kind of obscured or hidden. But every once in a while, you can catch catch a glimpse of it peeking out from behind the clouds or shining above the horizon or lighting a doorway. At the end of a dark hall, or at the top of a well. And I can't tell if this thing is dead or not. I can barely see the screen. Still got 62% battery. I'm probably gonna wrap this up pretty soon. For anyone out there that finds this at any point in time before things degrade into total chaos, I don't know how many chances people have left, but it's definitely wearing thin. And it's best if a person treats this as their last chance. So try to do absolutely everything that you can to climb your way out of the hole and to fix as much as possible while you're here. To at least give yourself a fighting chance. Everyone can make it if they try. And if they fight the inclination of evil, it's up to you and no one else. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.